You've got ideas, you've got ambition, you've got no time, or so you think. I'm Marissa Lonick, and I help busy moms with big dreams and no time. Join me each week as I dive into time management strategies, goal setting and achieving framework, and inspiring guests who are juggling mom life, work life, fill in the blank life. Dreams don't work unless you do, and just because you're a mom doesn't mean you can't still make it happen, whatever it means to you. Welcome to the Mama Work It podcast. Hey, mamas. Welcome back to another amazing episode of the Mama Work It podcast. I am so glad you're here. If you are new, my name is Marissa Lonick. I am your host and the founder of Mama Work It, where we support women in the juggle of mom life, work life, wife life, fill in the blank life. And today our topic is probably something you've been thinking about, something I know I've been thinking about. It is all about how to pay for college without breaking the bank, because I don't know if you heard, but college is pretty expensive. So I've got the guest for today's episode. Her name is Dr. Pamela Ellis. She is known as the education doctor. She has an MBA, a PhD, and she has helped over 30,000 families navigate college admissions, ensuring teens find the right fit without overspending. She is the award-winning author of the bestseller, What to Know Before They Go, College Edition. Dr. Pamela also founded Compass College Advisory, which has a 95 success rate in getting students into their top choice colleges and securing an average of $75,000 in scholarships per student. As a CEO and consultant, Dr. Pamela's experience with the education system includes advising school districts, community organizations, and institutes of higher education. However, her experience as a mom of 3 young children going back to graduate school really provided a unique understanding of how to juggle college life and being a parent. So, Dr. Pamela, I'm so excited you're here. I know I'm going to learn a ton. I know our community is going to learn a ton. Thank you so much.
My goodness, Marissa, thank you so much. As I was listening and thinking back to all the episodes that I've listened to of your show, it was just like, oh my goodness, okay.
Yeah.
So thank you so very much.
Oh, you're so welcome. Well, Dr. Pamela, I always love to ask our guests, can you tell us just a little bit more about your journey?
Yeah, absolutely. So my journey began when a teacher told me in grade school that I wouldn't amount to anything. And that led to me for the decades following to do everything I could to prove that she was wrong. And when I became a mom, I knew that my own kids would have that same challenge of low expectations or being told that they weren't enough. And with that knowledge, I just became obsessed with schooling and trying to figure out how to help my kids through their journey. And that led me to going back to get my doctorate degree. And my research work is around high school to college transition. So what supports students with navigating through high school and then going on to thrive in college. And when I was working with doing education research, some families saw the work that I was doing with my own kids. They knew I did something in education and asked me if I would help their children with their journey through the education system. And it was working with middle schoolers looking for the right high school, the right summer programs, and then students looking for colleges, and now some students looking for graduate school. And we work with them as well. But all of the things that I've done over the years have led to what I do today. And so I refer to it as my calling, not just my passion, because there isn't anything else that I would be doing but this.
I love that. And I especially love that it all stemmed from someone telling you that it wouldn't be possible for you because obviously you're a very high achieving woman. Most of our listeners are also
Yeah.
we fall into this category, and
Hmm.
it's like you should know better than to tell a high achieving woman that she can't do something because
No, right?
she's going to find a way. She's going to figure it out. She's going to do it backwards, forwards, sideways, sleeping. She's going to do it. So
Exactly.
I love that you took that, and instead of internalizing it and making it part of your identity, you're like, oh no, watch me.
Yes, exactly. Watch me.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Pamela, as we
Mhm.
said in our intro here,
Yeah,
college is expensive, and I feel like it's just
it
getting more
is.
and more expensive year after year. So,
Right.
like, if you're someone listening who's got even younger kids, like my
Mhm.
kids, the oldest ones are 11 right now,
Yeah.
how do we set ourselves up for success to pay for our kids' college if that's something that we're striving to do for them?
Yeah, yeah, that's a great question. But Marissa, for, before I forget, one thing I want to say is a thank you to you, and really just sharing with your listeners just how lucky they are. I tell you, in the episodes, I mean, you're just so real in terms of really acknowledging the elephant in the room for us as moms. And that is so well appreciated. And so, to all of your listeners out there, go out and do your 5-star review now. And
Oh,
thank
thank
you.
you.
So, I definitely wanted to let you know that. And so, with the preparing your child for college, it's really so much about them and not us as moms. And I say that because so many times we see it as our process, and you'll hear language like we are applying to college or we are looking at colleges. And I think, for us as moms, we want the best for our kids, and we take that on, and in so many ways take it from them, or we're trying to make sure they're doing so much. And I always lean on listening to your child and getting to know them, giving them the opportunity to get to know who they are. And that's one of the key things, because so much about what the colleges are looking for is what you care about and how are you going to contribute to their campus. And if we go in with knowing that, in terms of the process always starts with our kid and who they are, the other piece of it is that there are tons of colleges out there that can be a great fit for your child. And it's not about only one college that's going to be the best college for them. And when you think about it in that way, that opens up so many opportunities, and opportunities where they will get scholarships. And
Mm.
even for the students that I work with, in many cases, their parents don't qualify for any financial aid, but they're still getting money because we're focused on fit. And we're not just looking at one college. If you're going to focus on one college, you don't have any negotiating power. You're just showing your hands, and they can say, oh, we don't have anything for you. But when it's about, what that student cares about, and getting a sense for who they are and owning that process, that's going to make all the difference in an application that's going to be authentic and true to what's a good fit for them.
Hmm. This is a really interesting way to look at this, right?
Mhm.
So it's looking at it from a really holistic perspective. I feel
Right.
like it's not just like, oh, I've always dreamed of going to this school. It's more like, I want to research these 10 or 20 schools that have this program that I'm interested in that could be a really good culture fit, location fit, size fit, all those
Right.
things. And
Right.
then really opening up the mindset to that. And I'm speaking in first person, but I know you just said really letting your child lead this process, right?
Right, right. And so I'll share with you, we look at it in terms of 5 factors of fit. So it's academic, social, financial, vocational, and cultural. So when you look at it in terms of those 5 ways, and we're talking about these factors as they apply to the child, then it's looking at what are the colleges that match with that. But we always start with the child first. And sometimes kids will come in and they'll say, oh, I want to go to X college. And when we take them through that process of starting with themselves to look at those 5 factors and then doing the research on the colleges that we give them to start with, they're just like, oh, wow, I didn't know that about this college. And oh, this doesn't really make sense for me. So it just starts to bring up a totally different conversation. And that's what you want, because then, they can make a better decision for a place where they can thrive. And it's going to embrace them in all the ways that they are uniquely them. And so that's what I love about it.
Yeah. And I just love this like introduction to self-awareness for them
Yeah,
at this
it
age.
is.
I am such a fan of self-awareness tools,
Yes.
and I feel like it's such an undervalued
Yeah,
thing out there. Like, why are we
it
not
is.
allowed to major in this? Why is this not a college course out
Right.
there? And I love that you're introducing it at this important age where kids
Yes.
really are starting to learn who they are, what they want to be,
Yeah.
where they want to live. Like all those questions and things are
Right.
coming up for them, and they have their whole future ahead of themselves. And to
Right.
know who they are as
Yes.
people
It really
and
is.
choose a school, and hopefully even then
Yeah.
have more of a chance of receiving grants and aid and
Yeah.
scholarships to be able to help them on that very
Right.
expensive journey
Yeah.
is so smart.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing about it is, I mean, when kids have a sense of, who they are and start to get to know things like their personality, their learning and productivity style, what their intelligences are, those kinds of things. And we even have created a new values assessment that we do. And we do it with the student as well as with the parents. And, parents are learning, oh, I didn't even know my kid valued that, because I'm thinking, they have the same values I have, And so we were in this meeting the other night, and this student said, his primary value was fun. And his mother is like,
Not what you want to hear when you're sending your 18-year-old off to college.
I know, right? But we also asked them about why college. Because oftentimes parents are saying, "Oh, you're going to college regardless." And for the student, we give them, some different options, like maybe 13 of them, and just ask them to say, what's your why? And sometimes it's not the same as what the parents' why is. And so just at least opening that discussion so that everyone is on the same page, it really helps to strengthen that relationship at such a, stressful time. And I know for us, as parents, it's hard to let go. And we're almost mourning before they even leave, like, oh my God, they're going to be leaving home soon, and that whole mix of emotions, that's a great time to really reinforce, that bond and learning about each other and giving their teen that sense of self-awareness supports them in being successful and thriving in college once they do leave home.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So I love this mindset shift. I love this process. But Dr. Pamela, I'm sure we still have to dip in our pockets at some point to pay
Oh,
for some of this
absolutely.
school. So, like,
Absolutely.
what are some tips
Mm-hmm.
that parents out there can do if they are planning to financially fund this experience for their kids to start saving and like
Yeah.
still live along the
Right,
way?
right. There are 529 plans that are out there. A number of states have their own promise programs, if you will, for in-state tuition being paid for. We've worked with a number of families who have those type of assets in place. And I say working with your financial advisor in terms of different investment vehicles and just how things are, whose name is in, I guess is the best way to put it. Um, the other thing, in addition to that, is scholarships. External scholarships start as early as age 13. And so many times, families will wait until senior year to start looking at scholarships. And you don't have to
Mm.
wait until senior year because there's so many that are out there. There is a full ride scholarship that's just for juniors. And then there are some others that are keenly focused on the middle school years or for ninth or 10th grade. So just taking advantage of those scholarship opportunities. And that's a way that the kid puts some skin in the game in terms of developing their writing skills and doing activities that they care about, and then knowing about those ways that they can get those scholarship dollars to support them later, because the organizations hold the funds and send them directly to the college where they matriculate. So
Hmm.
those are the ways that I you know encourage families to consider as they are planning ahead for the tuition bill. The other thing I will say too is there are some things that you can do in senior year in terms of planning. So the list is always going to make a huge difference as far as scholarship money. The biggest dollars do come from the colleges. And so that's why that right fit list is important. The other thing is the timing of when you apply. And so if you're applying early decision agreement says that your teen will come to that college if they're admitted, regardless of financial aid. And that's something oftentimes parents may not realize, but that's what the agreement says. And so if you are signing that agreement, then you're pretty much positioning yourself to pay in full, because it's like you're showing your hand that you'll come regardless. And so those are a couple of things, late in junior year and senior year that parents should be aware of that play a big role in terms of any type of financial awards.
Interesting. Okay. That makes sense, but I
Mhm.
never thought of it from that perspective, but it makes total sense. What about scholarships like sports scholarships versus
Mhm.
academic?
Yeah.
What other kinds of scholarships exist? I know you said there are external ones, which I didn't even know existed from middle school
Yeah.
years. That's
Mhm.
impressive.
Yeah.
But what sort of things could parents be educating themselves about, or even kids themselves?
Right. So oftentimes we hear about academic awards and we hear about athletic awards. And so
Hmm.
many times families are thinking, oh, you need to stay in AAU and do this to make sure you get this athletic full ride. But we all know that the majority of students do not go to a D1 or even a D2 institution that's going to give them those scholarships or even eligible for it. So, in addition to that, when you look at the college's institutional priorities, and you can find this through reading the president's letter, that gives you a sign of what types of scholarships are awarded. So, for example, if they are creating a new neuroscience lab, then students who are majoring in neuroscience are getting scholarship awards. One of the other statistics or data points you can look at is the demographic profile. a number of colleges, for example, in the Southeast, want to have a national footprint. And so if you're living outside the Southeast, you're likely going to get a lot of scholarship money because that's their way of recruiting you so that they can have a national profile. Sometimes it's because there are, fewer guys on campus than girls. And so some of my guys may get a lot more scholarship than the girls who apply with a similar profile to that same college. Certainly, when you're outside of your immediate area, there's usually more scholarships for you because the colleges that are local to you, they want to bring in students outside the area usually. And the research shows, especially for girls, that when they go further away from home, they're more successful. And if you're just looking at colleges locally, you're likely not as likely to get as much money as if you're looking at colleges a little bit further away.
Wow. I would never think that. That's so fascinating. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But you can really look at the college's profile to get a sense for who gets money. And when you look at their data, oftentimes what you see is that the percentage of families who are full pay are less than what we often would realize. Nationally, the percent of full pay is around 20%. So the other 80% are getting some monies.
Okay, that gives me some hope.
Yeah. Sometimes it's, if your teen is interested in doing study abroad, there may be a short essay and they're providing funding for students who want to do study abroad programs. If you're in a major that, has that are seeking students to do research with professors, they will offer full tuition oftentimes. There are a number of colleges that are looking for students who will do research with professors, and they offer scholarships for that.
Got it. Yeah. So it really is this, again, holistic viewpoint of kind of digging in and doing the research. And I'm sure working with individuals like yourself
Yeah,
who
absolutely.
are in this world day in and day out and have that knowledge base to share.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So lots of kids coming out of school these days with college debt.
Mm-hmm.
And, as parents, I think the ultimate goal would be to help our kids graduate debt free.
Right.
So what can we do on our end to help them either be debt free or come out with very minimal debt from school?
Yeah, I think that's around the list as well. And really supporting your teen through high school to not necessarily do a little bit of everything, but do the things that they care about, because that's going to support them with getting more scholarships so that they're not just getting loans. Sometimes what I've seen where it's loans, a lot of loans, it's students who are not as strong of a candidate. So maybe their grades aren't as strong or they haven't taken any rigorous courses. And so their profile itself is a little bit uncertain as to the strength of them being able to complete the 4 years. And so they tend to have a little bit more on the loan side than scholarships or grants. And for some colleges, they are more selective. They don't have any loans. And so if you have a college like that on your list that you're competitive for and get admitted to, you're not going to have any loans. And so thinking about some of those things ahead and really being intentional around how you negotiate the offer. And so the award offers are negotiable, even if no one ever tells you that or the college doesn't say anything about it. And I have, worked with students, who negotiated that amount down, and really being mindful around what's renewable so that you're aware of that, understanding if the loan is a certain amount in freshman year, is that going to be the same each year? Or is it going to increase? So asking those questions even before you say you're enrolling. And that's a way to manage it.
Okay, so when you say the award offer, are you referring to like the scholarship offer or just the admittance into the school?
Those are separate. For most schools, the admissions will come and then the award letter.
And the award letter refers to any funds that are being gifted.
Right.
And
right.
that is what you're saying is negotiable.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
I had no idea.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we've talked a lot about kind of this financial prep of what we can be doing, how we can kind of go about this process. But I imagine there's got to be some emotional prep that happens here too with kids going off to college.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Wow. It really starts as soon as you get into this process, whether it's 9th or 10th grade. And the emotional piece of it is letting your teen own the process. That's an emotionally heavy lift for some parents. We may be in corporate careers where we're used to being in control. And the thought of letting our teen own the process, we see that they're a procrastinator. We see that, sometimes they're a little disorganized. Maybe I'm just talking about my own kids, but, we see these things and we're thinking they're going to own the process. Yeah. And so that's where, you may really need some help with it because having them own it and giving them that opportunity to really explore and discover it. And part of the exploration could be, letting your teen do in a way summer program. It doesn't have to be for the whole summer, but even a week or two. That's a way that we can really be more emotionally prepared for them to go away. And I talk with parents about this every year. Every year we talk about it in some form or fashion because I know it can be hard. One of my moms that I was working with earlier on, a single mom with only one child, and I just never forget, we had met at a coffee shop when her daughter had gone away for freshman year. And she just said to me she didn't know what to do with herself. And it was just so heavy. It was so heavy to hear her say that. But she just felt lost. And I felt like I hadn't really done my job because I didn't prepare her as well as I had prepared her daughter to thrive. And so ever since then, we've adjusted our curriculum. And in senior year, we have a senior parent community. And a lot of that is about supporting those parents with being able to let go and let go confidently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think there's a really important piece there that you said, which is having a community during that time, especially.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yeah. It really is. It really is. I was reading an article about that recently in terms of parents having a community, because I think so many times in this process, that's when parents get to be a little bit more competitive with each other or want to say that, oh, my kid is going to X college, or my kid got a full ride. And you're just thinking like, oh my God, my kid must be terrible. I tell my senior parents, don't go to any cocktail parties. Because if you go to a cocktail party, everybody's kid is amazing, and you're just wondering, like, "Oh, that's not my kid." So, but we do need community, and we need it now more than ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Dr. Pamela, we are going to jump over now to our lightning round
Yes.
where I'm going to ask you just some random fun questions so we
Okay.
can get to know you a little bit more personally. Are you ready?
I'm ready for it.
All right, let's go. Let's see. What book are you reading right now?
Oh, goodness. The book I'm reading right now is the 16-word sales letter.
That's cool. You're an entrepreneur. Absolutely.
So many other amazing books. One I have to share, though, is The Anxious Generation.
Yes.
We just finished reading that as an organization, as a company. And that has really shifted the way we further engage with our families. So that's a really important one. But the 16-word sales letter right now. You got me
it
when you
sounds
say it right now.
That's okay. We
Yes.
want to know.
Yes.
What about your guilty pleasure TV show?
Oh, wow. That's a little bit harder. I don't have a TV.
You don't have a TV.
No.
That's amazing.
No, I haven't in years. So I don't know. And sometimes I feel a little left out when I hear other people talking about TV shows. That's what I don't.
Honestly, I feel like you are a trendsetter right now, and I like it. That's like the best answer we've ever gotten on this show. Okay. What is one app that you cannot live without?
Zero.
What is that?
Zero is a fasting app. So it tracks the time when you start and when you end. And I tell you, if I didn't have it, I would forget. And I have been doing intermittent fasting for a while now. It works out really well with my running. And so that would be the app.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right. Last question. If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Oh, wow. It would be to go back and make any correction from the past. Because one of the things I think oftentimes really get in the way and can stagnate us is if we have that feeling of regret. And so to be able to go back and course correct, that would be amazing. Don't you think, Marissa?
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like often the regret stems from not doing something versus doing something. So probably, just going back and being like giving ourselves that courage or that belief in ourselves to just go for it and try it and see what happens.
Yeah. So that's what it would be.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we are just about ready to end our episode today. But before we do, please tell our listeners where they can find you, learn more about you, and what you do.
Absolutely. Well, I have a great gift for them, which is the College Confidence Blueprint. And it has a roadmap for step by step what to do when your teen is in high school, and also a communication guide, because so many times we feel like we're nagging and we're not sure how to talk with our kid about college. And they can get this wonderful gift by sending me a message on LinkedIn. And that's at Dr. Pamela Ellis, DrPamelaEllis. And they can send me Blueprint 25 and I'll send it right over to them.
Perfect. Well, we will make sure we link your LinkedIn link in our show notes today so people can find you and send you that DM. And we are so appreciative of you being on the show and sharing all of this amazing wisdom and knowledge when it comes to college. Thank you.
Thank you, Marissa.
You've been listening to the Mama Work It podcast. I hope you've enjoyed this episode and would love if you could take a quick minute to leave me a review on whichever platform you're listening from, and maybe even send a note to a fellow mama friend recommending it. Reviews and recs help this podcast grow and reach more like-minded, awesome moms. And if you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click that button so we can stay in touch, girl. By the way, if you haven't checked out the Mama Work It website, please do. There are lots of free resources and great articles there that can help you with the juggle of work life, mom life, wife life, fill in the blank life. So head on over. Thanks again for being part of the tribe. I'll see you soon, but in the meantime, keep on working it, mama.